In New York City, there is an influx of asylum seekers, roughly 180,000 pouring into the Big Apple from border states. And there's also been an uptick of crimes, unfortunately, committed by migrants in New York City. Remember the video of the police officers who were attacked. And then in Denver, there are migrant encampments in the streets. That city is now releasing migrant families from some of the city-run facilities. Denver, as a result, is pleading with property owners to rent out their homes to migrants after closing several of those shelters. The effort is meant to save millions of dollars as the migrant crisis is adding a strain to the city financially. There is an organization helping with housing for migrants in Denver. Amanda Blaurock, co-founder and executive director of the Village Exchange Center, is joining us this morning to talk more about it. Amanda, thank you for your time. Tell me about who's paying for this. I mean, how do you even begin to assist these families who have nowhere to go?
Sure. So we're working with the city and county of Denver and the state of Colorado on programs to do case management and work with individuals to be released from shelter and be put into permanent housing.
So are we talking about families who have a second home or a VRBO, Airbnb, a landlord who might have extra space? Where are the opportunities for housing in Denver that you all are looking to?
Since Colorado and the city of Denver has been working so strategically on housing the unhoused right now, there is a large shortage of affordable housing. So we're looking at landlords in large buildings, looking to some of the housing authorities and trying to find individual owners that might be willing to rent their space. With a grant that we have from the state of Colorado under the Office of New Americans, we are working to actually put people into housing permanently, people meaning families only, which is over two individuals in a family, into housing for $4,500 maximum, which could be 2 months rent, or it could be first and last month rent plus deposit plus a month's rent.
Okay, understood. And for those who are in a position to offer housing, have they been receptive to this?
So we just started our grant on this week, but we have started in the last month working on seeing who would be available. And yes, we see some receptivity, but there's some difficulty. People are looking at, one landlord said, well, we need to do a background check. And again, these are new arrivals, so background check wouldn't show very much in the United States. So I think that there is a receptivity to housing new immigrants, but it's still very difficult because of the job crisis as well. We have many people that were working on TPS status. My organization's already done almost 300 intakes for TPS. So those are individuals that within the next 2 to 3 months will be able to actually have a job legally, which helps when you're having conversations with landlords about placing someone in their home, because after the support by the government, they're going to need to be able to do this on their own and pay rent on their own.
Yeah. And for those who don't meet the requirements, if you're not a family of 2 or more, you don't have a job, what about everybody else as these shelters start to close? What's the plan then?
So there are organizations working on temporary transitional housing. So that's where most of the people who are ineligible to receive the funding for permanent housing will be sent.
What's the morale like in Denver as organizations like yours try to work through the challenges that now face your city with the migrant crisis?
So it's difficult. I mean, just speaking for my organization, we're seeing up to 3,000 individuals, about 650 families per week. That's a lot of people coming into our organization for food. We have a vaccination clinic and we do wraparound services. So it is difficult. There's compassion fatigue, there's organizational fatigue. It's pretty difficult for organizations right now to kind of handle the amount of people who've come in and the lack of resources around it. And I think in terms of the morale around Denver, People are excited to have new immigrants here, but they're also nervous, and there's a lot of rhetoric that goes around that's very negative about new immigrants. And some of the surrounding cities have not received the new immigrants in a welcoming manner. So this has been a more complicated issue for Colorado.
Yeah, I know Aurora has had some concerns about migrants from Denver ending up in Aurora and vice versa. Final question for you. As you talk to these migrant families who are arriving, what do you think is the biggest misconception driving some of the negativity around this issue?
That people are here and they don't want to work, or that they're different than anyone else that is here. These are human beings that are coming in and have fled their countries for specific reasons that made it untenable for them to live there, and that they are people who want to contribute. The new arrivals that are here all want to have jobs. They want to become legal and have status in this country and want the American dream just like everyone else.
Yeah, unfortunately, the line is long, but you're doing good work out there in Denver. Amanda, thank you to you and your team. It takes a village.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
All right. We could see some big